Hello, we should be online again. It is day part 2 of Destroy the Xbox. As you can see, it's in front of me. It's in bits again. I've just got the stream up and running. I'm just checking it's actually working. So give me guys a second if you are there, if anyone is there. No, there's no one there. So let me just check we're actually live on YouTube. Let me check that YouTube is actually behaving. It says we are all good to go. Let me turn the GH5 on because I haven't actually done that yet to make sure we got overhead. Hello, GH5. Oh, yes. We need focus. Focus, GH5. Focus. I've still got the tele converter turned on, so we need to turn that off, I think. We definitely need to turn the tele converter off. See that button there? No, that's the white balance. One of these buttons up here is the tele converter button. That one. It is. There you go. You can see that we're turned off. If you are there, if there is anyone watching, say hello. I just want to get the chat up and running as well. Now, there's going to be a video going live on the main channel in about 15 minutes as well. Notifications. Mads Live is tech. Hello. Oh, we are up. Oh, do we have audio? Let's have a look. I got this up today, so we got the comments. Oh, I can hear myself, so that's a good start. Looking good. So this is going to be part 2 of breaking the Xbox. And what I've had a good look through last night. Let me just get that. This is my comments. I should put it on. I got the laptop here. Why don't I just put it up on the laptop? What an idiot. Let me just turn that off. Let me get the comments up on OBS as well. Boom. Oh, comments are not going to work because I haven't actually popped that out. This is what happens when you go live without actually fully setting it up beforehand. 1 second, everyone. Boom. Okay, so we should get comments come up on there. And then I'm just going to get my computer up and running just so I can see what's going on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do some more on this Xbox, and I think it's a goner, but we're going to do some voltage checks first of all. I found a really good circuit diagram of telling us where to check for some voltages on it, so we're going to do that. I've got a video going live in a minute on the other channel about today's RTX 3070 launch. Just make sure this stream is actually public. Oh, there's someone. Oh, people are coming on. Hello, it says people are appearing. Let's see if that works then. If you are there, say hello in the comments. I'm just going to get them up as we speak now. Switch the channel on this one. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a bit more with this mess. Not that one, this mess in front of me, the Xbox. The reason it looks a bit more of a mess because I wanted to hook the drives up. Because I read a post that it won't boot without everything attached. But that's not the case from what I can see. It's still not good. But we're going to do some voltage checks. We're going to pin around on the board. There's a good diagram which shows us where to check for some voltages. I think I've killed the CPU. That's what I think I've done. Okay. I think the reality of the situation is I overheated it, but we're going to have to see. If anyone has put comments in, I will get them any second now. Let me just get this up and running so I can actually see. Hi, it's Ash again. Can't stay, popping in to say hi. Hello, Ash. How are you doing? Hope you are safe and well. It's another boring one, mate. I'm just doing a part 2 from last night. That's what I'm doing. It's very cold in the workshop today. Did you get yourself a 3070, Ash? Did you try to buy one today? I tried to buy one, and I couldn't make it happen. And I am extremely frustrated at the whole experience. And there's a video going up on the main channel about it in a minute. And it's just crap. It really makes you feel crap. It really does. But anyway, I hope you are safe and well, my friend, where you are in the world. We're just going to tidy ourselves up. Now, to those who were not here last night, this was my Xbox 360 Slim that decided to go to a flashing red light. So we tried some heat treatment last night. For those who were watching, you would have also seen it was quite an explosive live stream. So much so that we actually blew up some of the capacitors live on YouTube with a heat gun. Me getting a bit keen with the, just to show you, me getting a bit keen with the heat gun. Focus, please, Panasonic. I do need to sort this lighting out. If you look here, there's meant to be capacitors all along here, and some of these blew up. Here's one of them. Is that the one I removed? That's the one I actually removed. Where's the one that removed itself? What was the quite entertaining bit about it was it blew up and it desoldered itself on the board. That tells you how much heat I put into it. But anyway, so the issue with this was Xbox 360 Slim. Get myself back up on the screen. Single flashing red light was the overall issue with it. But we overheated it. I think I cooked the CPU. I think I should have probably done the oven. I did the heat gun and I probably should have done the oven. But what we're going to do now is we're going to pin through some stuff just to have a look at what the actual state of affairs is. Now, the first thing we're going to do is nick a battery and put it in this multimeter, because the battery in my multimeter keeps going flat, and we're going to put a fresh one in that, which I've actually got here in the heat gun. We were using the heat gun last night to get that up and running. So whilst I'm waiting for this, we're just going to get this sorted, and then we will bring up the circuit diagram, and there's some really good information out there for these Xboxes. There really is. Let me just turn this tablet off because we don't need him anymore. We'll put him over there. Now, if you guys have any questions while I'm doing this, please do let me know. I am a bit earlier tonight. Well, I think I'm earlier tonight. I might not be, actually. I might have started this time last night, but we went into well beyond midnight. We managed to get well past midnight. So, yeah. So what we're going to do is get ourselves up and running. What have I done? I moved all my tools, and I now can't find them. What have I done with them? It was next to me, next to the laptop. And I moved them all earlier, so I had room to quickly film that video I've just filmed. But the question is, where are they gone? They can't just vanish. Ah, do you know what? I'm going mad. They're in front of me. Okay. So, let's get this battery swapped over on this multimeter before we do anything. And then we'll start looking at getting some voltage checks done on this board. Now, I suspect, as I've already said a couple of times, I suspect I fried it. Not the board itself, I think I cooked the CPU. They are temperature sensitive, and I think I cooked it. But I want to do some voltage checks. I'll show you the circuit diagram I found online. This will give us an idea if there's any shorts on the power supply or anything like that that I've caused as part of my heat treatment. That's a dead PP3. Let's just pop a fresh one in. There we go. Put them in there. I could have used the bench meter, but I'm over here. So if anyone is watching, please say hi before we get onto the Xbox. So if we do what happened yesterday? Well, yesterday we got the heat gun out, which is under my desk here. Turned off at the moment. We got the hot solder gun out. We gave the board a lot of heat treatment. We reflowed the system on a chip, the SoC for the main unit. We reflowed that, and we definitely reflowed them 100%. The way I can actually see the balls under it are nice and good. Not very well, I can't be 100%, but everything looks good. But we did have an accident. You can see that there's flux all over it because I used some flux as part of the reflow process. But we blew up a few caps. But I'm not worried about the blown up capacitors. That happens. That happens in any situation. So I'm not particularly worried about that. Now I'm trying to see if it's actually the battery in my multimeter that's going, or the display. If it's the display, I'm going to buy one of the EEV blog ones, because he makes some really... Yeah, I think the display... Right. I want to put this so you guys can see it as well. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start pinning out some voltages and having a look at what the situation with the power supply is. Now, I've found some really good pictures last night. Let me just find them. Xbox 360 Slim voltage testing. And there's a couple of images I found. I got them on my phone. I might share them across, but there's one image I found which was just brilliant. And it had everything I ever needed on it. So what I think I'll do is I'll share it with myself now, and then I can show them on screen to you guys. Only problem, this is a Mac and this is an iPhone, but that's currently got Windows up. Some irony, so I can't share over AirPlay or whatever it's bloody called. I've had to do it differently. So let's just get those images up, and then I'll pop them up on the screen so you guys can see them as well. iCloud Drive, this one here. Okay, so if I just pop this up, we've now got this image which gives us all of the voltages and test points on this board. So just to show you, this is, this is my board. So if we orientate it the same, we are there already. So what we've then got on this is some colors located on each component, and those colors are telling us what the voltages we should be getting at those points are based on what we've got on the side here. And then we're going to be able to actually do that on the multimeter and actually have a look if what we're getting is correct. So that is the plan. Now, as I am doing this, guys, as I've already said, if you do have any comments, let me know. I am going to put that tablet back on, actually, because I need that image up on there so I can see it. But I won't be able to see the comments. So let me just turn this bad boy on. There we go. That's fine. So if there are any comments, they will pop up and I will see them on there. That's fine. Today's video is sponsored by me. Been an interesting day overall, actually. Obviously, the RTX 3070 launch, which I've done a video about, and that's gone out just now. Well, it's about to go out. Right, we've got our power supply, so we're going to plug him into the board. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put it up on there, put it up so you can see me in the top corner as well. Not that you probably want to do that, but sorry guys, you're going to have to. And what we're going to do now is we're going to have a pin around and have a look at some voltages. So if we have a look on this, so the first thing we want to do is have a look over by here. So if we go here, we've got two reds, a white and a black. So the reds are 4 volt, the black's ground, so that's a ground point. There's plenty of ground points on here. So what are the yellows here? So they're 12s. So I think what we'll do is we'll get a ground point. We've got a ground point here, which is on this capacitor by here. So we'll use him as a nice ground point, and the white next to that is 5 volt. So we'll start looking around there and start comparing it to what we should have. So if we now go to the ground point of him, which is that point there, and if I now look at the chart, what we should get is on U, we should have 12 volts. Clearly not. Does it have to be powered on? Most likely. Yes, because we're not getting anything there at the moment. So what we need to do, that's going to be interesting then, because it keeps tuning itself off. So we're going to have to see, will it stay on when we do that? Okay, so what we're going to go is go back onto here. We're going to go to that point there, and then we're going to turn on. And we get in. We back off already. No, the light's on the front. We're getting millivolts. That's not a lot, is it? Not a lot at all there. So we're in auto DC. Our red light is still on the front. So at this point here, we should have 12 volt, which we're not getting. And at this point here, we should have 12 volt, which we're not getting. Okay, should we have a look if we're getting actually anything from this power supply first of all? Let's just flip this over. Power supply is in the off position. That's interesting. So what we might end up having to do is do a forced voltage in on this one. Because obviously that's ground. If we pin this out a tad, and we can have a look what we're actually getting. So we're getting 5 volts there. we've got 5 volts coming in on the power supply. Sorry, let me, it's not very good, you guys can't see. Good evening, Dave, how are you? Nice to see you. I think what we might do is, let's just see what the power supply is giving us first, shall we? Now, this is always dodgy ground. Right, so we've got the ground on the outside, which should be shared. So let's just have a look what we're getting on the power supply. So let's just pin the PSU first of all. If I go down to the pin, nothing on pin 1. And 5 volt. So the PSU provides 5 volt at all times. Okay, that appears to be its behavior. And then does it jump to 12 volts when on, perhaps? Perhaps that makes a bit more sense. Even Hi Taff, how are you? We're on part 2. Welcome to part 2 of the Messing Up the Xbox live stream, where I finish the job I started. We're going to pin through some voltages. I'll talk to you guys about that now. I'm just doing some tests a minute to have a look what we're getting. So we're getting 5 volt in from the power supply. And this must be the 12 volt area, which we're not getting anything on. And although that's one set of tracks, it really isn't. Okay, so that's the 5 volt area. So let's spin this back over and start looking. So what I need to do, I'm just going to adjust this camera a second. 2 seconds. It's a bit far in the desk for me, so I'm having to push the stuff up a bit. There we go. It's a bit better. Okay, so we've got this diagram which gives us the voltages of what we should be getting where and when. So I thought we'd just have a pin around before we lift some stuff off. I do think, if you've only just joined me, I do think I have killed the SoC, is what I think's happened. So the power supply, I'm wondering then, so it outputs 12. It outputs 12 volts at 9 amp and 5 volts at 1 amp. That's what they're saying. So we know where we should be getting 5 volts. We're getting 5 volts in some of these locations. Like, what's that spot there? It's nothing. Okay, so if I look on this diagram, they're 12. So 5 volt is whites. So we should actually have 5 volt here on this capacitor. Well, we're certainly not getting that. If I go from overhead so you guys can see, there we go. So we're certainly not getting 5 volt there, are we? Okay, that's definitely the ground point. Just to make sure nothing's going mad. Yep, definitely the ground point. It's easier for me to look at the screen to see if I'm getting 5 volt or not. So what are we getting on these? No. These caps. I'm just trying to find a point where I'm definitely getting the 5 volt in. No. This is the 12 volt area, I'm guessing. Okay, so that one should be 5 volt. Oh, that one should be 5. It's definitely that one that should be 5 volt. That should be 5. We're certainly not getting voltage anywhere on this. Now the question is, does it need to be on? Now we did get a spike then, and if I just... How long ago did the audio guy die, guys? Well done, Mark. Thanks for that. It looks like my battery's gone flat on my mic. It was in my pocket, and I assumed it was on. How long ago did the audio stop? I'm going to have to go back and have a look now, aren't I? Good evening, Mark. How are you doing? I'm going to go back and have a look. Did it just stop? It stopped a bit of time ago. Okay. We lost audio. Hello, Mark. Hope you can hear me now. We've got the proper mic working again now. The battery went flat on the road, and I didn't know. No, I didn't stop talking. The battery went flat on the road. The battery went flat on. That's why I've stopped using it a little bit on that. So I moved over. So I've moved back over to the normal mic now. Hadn't stopped talking. No. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to start again a little bit on what I was talking about. So what we're doing is, we're looking at this board, and we're going to do some voltage checks on it to see what the condition of the voltage is on it, and what it's doing and why, and to see if I can do any diagnosis. Now, I've already found an issue which you guys wouldn't have heard about, but we have found one. Now, what I found is this circuit diagram, which gives me all the voltage locations on the board. So what we're going to do, first of all, is look at my board, and we're going to look at what the voltages, not voltages are. We're not actually going to check the voltages. We're going to check what's shorted to ground. So the multimeter is currently in resistance mode. So just to put it above there, if I do that, you can see that it's gone down to earth. Whoa, sorry, wrong button. That one there. Let me just bring myself up in the corner. I'll bring that where you guys can see it. What we're going to do is look at the various points from this, and we're going to check each of these points to see what's down to ground, because we've got all our voltages. So if we look at this diagram on this Xbox, we've got, anything in yellow is 12 volts. Then we've got our CPU circuit and our voltages and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is go through and have a look at what point is there anything to ground, or is anything shorted out? And that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is put myself back up in the corner. Now, I have actually already just found an issue that you guys haven't heard about. Yes, but we'll do it again. So what we're going to do is, first of all, pick a grounding point on the board. So, for instance, if I do that, that's earth. I know this point here on this board is earth. So if I just check that, we're getting short circuit. So I can keep my probe on the shield here, and we can then pan around. So the first thing I'm going to look at is 12 volts. We're going to look at the 12 volt rail. So if we bring this up, we can see the 12 volt rail is in yellow. So we've got those two ICs down by here and by here, which we have on my board. We've got them here. That's this one and this one. So we can then check this rail to see what its resistance is to earth. So if we just look at it, it's easier for me to look at the screen to see what it looks like. Bring it up again. So that is high. If you look, that's mega ohm. We've got like 9 mega ohm. It's not to earth in any shape or form. That circuit is absolutely fine. We know again that one's 12 volt. Now, when you're doing something like this, what you're looking for is very low resistance. So what is below 10 ohm? Anything above 10 ohm, I wouldn't be instantly concerned about. It's not right, but we're looking for what's below 10 ohm, basically. That's where we're at. Apologies for the audio failing. Live streaming fun. So the 12 volt circuit is absolutely fine. Yes, the thing is dropping. I'm just checking my audio is working now. Yeah, yes, the audio is the resistance is dropping, but it's not enough. So we know that's fine. So the next rail we'll jump on to is we'll have a look at the 5 volt rail, and the 5 volt rail is the white ones. So if we look, we've got where this capacitor is white, so that tells us that's the 5 volt rail. It's also on this larger connector area over here as well. So we'll check him out too. So just to bring it back up, we're going to have a look. And that capacitor is this one here. So we know this part is earth, because if I do that, it's a direct short. We know that side's earth. If we go to this side here, we're getting... what we get in 147 ohm. Display is playing up on this multimeter. I'm gonna have to get a new one. There you go. Look, this is a brand new battery as well. 147 ohm. Doesn't show very well. I need like a Lewis Rossman posh one, which you guys can see. If I hit it, it works. See, this is a bit better. So we got, this is the 5-volt rail. So go back on him. It's fading again. It's definitely 147 ohm. Put him back down. So that one's fine. Now the next rail we're going to look at is the red rail. Now the red rail is this pin of this circuit here. So we're going to take a look at him. And that's OC, open circuit, or OL, outside range. So that's fine. It's not down to earth. Now this circuit diagram says this pin is the 1.2 volt rail. Now that would be CPU 1.2 volt. That would be. Definitely would be CPU 1.2 volt. So if we take a look at that, boom, we are down to earth. Very, very down to earth. That is 0.000. That is shorted. Direct short to earth, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Now that's what this circuit diagram is saying. Now I'm just going to check it in another place as well. It also says this leg is that same circuit. Again, it shows as a direct short. I'm going to check this 5-volt rail again. There's a 5-volt header over here somewhere. Where are they showing it? Actually, the board I've got on this picture is slightly different, but that should... I don't believe, unless that's ground. But I don't believe that's ground, because what it's also showing is this as being the 1.2 volt rail as well, which is down to ground, and 1.2 volt rail, which is down to ground as well. There's him and him. Now that is directly to ground. Now what I'm going to check... Now, I have a suspicion. I think these caps are on this 1.2 volt rail. Just to check, if we got the plus and negative, so that's the plus, and I'm going from the top of that chip, and that is down to ground. That is a direct connection. So these caps here are all on that same rail. Now either the chip is down to ground, or remember we blew some of these up, so some of these are down to ground. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get these three out. That's the first thing we need to do, and take them out just in case one or two of them are down to earth. And we're going to pull them out and have a look at if that changes, because there is a reality here that I might have shorted that to ground just through those caps. So I'm just going to let the iron warm up. I've just flipped it on behind me. If we just take a look at the diagram and have a poke about a couple of other places. We've got a 1.6 volt rail at the top here under these pinks. We're going to have a look at these now as well at the top up here. Let's head up this way and check some voltages up here, and let's check some component values up here on compared to ground. We'll do those ones now as well. So it's really frustrating on the A10. I'm using the A10 Mini, and the frustration is you put the picture-in-picture up, but it doesn't hold, so you've always got to manually turn it back on. It's really frustrating. I wish you could assign the picture-in-picture to an input permanently. I really do. But so I think what we'll do is we'll head up to these top ones by where the arrow is now. So you can if you double finger it. But what we'll do is, so we'll head up. So we've got this transistor here which says that leg is light blue, and light blue is the 0.6 volt rail, and the multimeter is saying 0.3 kilo ohm. I'm okay with that. I've got no problem with that. The next leg of it is brown. That's the 3.3 volt rail. .6 kilo ohm. It's all right. Happy with that. No problems at all. And then the back side of it is probably it says 1.9 volt rail. Again, 0.5 kilo ohm. It's fine. I'm not concerned about that. That one's okay. If we go back up to here, this is the pink, which is the 1.6 volt rail. 0.7, oh, is that 74 ohm? 74 ohm, that's fine. That is ground, so that should be a direct short. Boom, straight down. And then this leg here is the red leg, which is a 4 volt leg. Weird one. That's open circuit. That's fine. And then we're going to go on this side, which is that pink leg again. Yeah, that's all looking good. Good. So now we'll head up this top corner to these two FETs up here. And we'll have a look at what these are doing. This is the 12 volt rail, which again, we know what the condition of that one is. Plenty there. We'll then have a look at this leg, which is green. Bright green is a 2.7 volt rail. We haven't checked the 2.7 volt rail yet. We'll have a look at him. Mega ohm, that's fine. No issues there. So, what we know is that this alleged 1.2 volt rail, this one here, is directly down to ground. So we have an issue here, that's for sure. Now, this could be what's stopping it. So the first thing I think we'd do is we'll take these caps off. Now, the chances are it's either the CPU that's down to earth, I've either cooked it, or these caps. But remember, I blew some of these up last night. If you watched the live stream last night, they went bang. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these three off is our first task. So I'm being dive bombed by a fly again. So we've got the soldering iron on. We're going to do this with the massive nib. Way too big for what we're doing, but it's what's attached to the iron, and I've forgotten to change it again. Where's my bigger solder? That's the thin stuff. Where's the good stuff? Oh, it's over here. Don't inhale solder fumes, ladies and gentlemen. They're not good for you. They are good. My solder mat isn't wet either. It needs to be wet. It's raining out, so at least I can deal with that. Okay, so where are these caps? I've lost where I am. They're the row down there, so this row down here. So what I'm going to do first of all is we're going to put some solder on them, because remember, this is all lead-free solder, and it's going to be a complete pain in the ass to do anything with. So the first thing we're going to do with the giant solder tip, don't use a tip this big. I'm gonna have to change it in a minute. It's making me look unprofessional, but we'll force our way through. What we're just going to do is put some traditional leaded solder on there. Everyone's favourite. To help us get these off, we're going to set tweezers. Don't know about you guys. Flies at the moment are extremely vicious in the UK. That's one. Now I'm going to put these safe because there's an awful lot of solder on them. We're going to put them safe because we might want them. So we're just going to mop this up. There's a bit too much solder there. Remember, we don't want this going everywhere. We're also going to tidy up the ones that escaped themselves, just in case that there's any shorts there. Now, if you don't use this, this is solder wick. It's good stuff. It really is. And then I'm going to remove the next capacitor. So it's this one here. Pop him out. Now, on the other channel, on the main channel, as a video has just gone out, should have gone live now, about my experience today trying to buy the RTX 3070, which I've been trying to buy, and it wasn't a good one. I need those solder fumes. Fly on. We're all hiding. Yeah, honestly, I keep getting dive bombed by them in the workshop. I come in here, And I'm standing there, and they literally hit me on the head. There we go. So that's the 3 capacitors removed. So let's get them off. We're just going to tidy that area up. Just want to make sure. I'm going to cut the end off this solder wick. And we're just going to just remove any excess, just to make sure that there's no opportunity for shorting. Good, good. Lovely. Okay. So, cool. So we've done that. So now we're going to check again to see if that short in the 1.2 volt rail has gone. Now, I have a feeling it's the CPU, if I'm honest. So we got the multimeter on. You can see there. If we go back on, see, no, still down. Very suspicious. Now, we don't have a circuit diagram for this at all. But that rail is shorted. Now, we just want to check that nothing untoward has happened with some of the components around it. And I haven't accidentally shorted on like some of these capacitors here. Because remember, I suspect these caps, right? Here they are, you see. These caps are part of it. So any one of these capacitors here could be part of this. Just get you in. Okay, so obviously these are the CPU rail capacitors. So any one of these could actually be part of the problem. Because again, we put a lot of heat into them. A lot of heat. Now, let me just get my headset on. And what I want to do is just have a closer look at this board. Now, the option we've got with this is this. We can either take them all off, or take one of them off, or think it might be the CPU, because we reballed it. But that rail is definitely down to ground. I'm just looking at the circuit a minute. Get the heat gun ready as well. Now, the chances are... Now, what we could do, and I haven't done this for a while, should we do some voltage injection? Let's do some voltage injection, shall we? Now, if you guys don't know what voltage injection is, I'm going to go full screen for voltage injection. What we'll do is we'll solder some wires on and we'll inject voltage into that circuit. And whatever is shorted should get hot. And it's a good way of finding problems like this. So it's not something I do very often, but some voltage injection is the way forward on this one, I feel. So let me get some wiring and get myself up and running with the bench power supply that I've stolen the power cable for. So I'm going to have to steal the cable out of the other one. And what we'll then do is get some voltage injection going on. And we'll see what ends up either going on fire or going bang. That really is the crux of it. Now, I took the bloody fuse out of this the other day. Right? This is my extension cable. I don't know if you can hear me. I took the fuse out of it. I can't find it. You hate it when that happens. You do something, right? And then it changes and it disappears on you. If it's not going to be there, I'm going to end up having to do it off wires. Which we'll do. We'll do it off separate wires. Okay, let's get me wiring box out. Okay. Let's get some wires on you. So what we'll do is we're going to solder onto the board at some point. We'll pick. We'll use this bit of white first of all, and we'll see what gets hot. And what we do is we start with a lowish voltage. and then we'll build it up. So we need to tin this. Let's just tin this a second. Now, when you're doing this a lot, you'd have like some wiring ready to go. Everybody, have I missed all the fire? No, the fire's to come. The fire is next, Bobo. The fire is shortly. The fire is after the voltage injection. Last night was explosions. Okay, so we've just tinned that. Go away. Go away. Need an extractor. Okay, so we know this rail is down to ground. So let's pick a ground point. So we're going to solder. We'll go with the white as the... put some solder on it. Behave you. So what I'm doing is I'm going to solder a wire. Where are you? So you can see. I'm going to solder a wire on here onto this, where this capacitor went, which is part of this rail, which is the 5-volt rail. Sorry, the 1.2 volt rail. And we just want another piece. Ideally black would be best. But if we haven't got any black, what do we have? Ooh, it's already tinned as well. Look at that. I'm going to solder this onto earth. So we'll pick a spot for earth. Something fairly safe and straightforward. Okay. That should be earth there. So if I just check, we'll go on to that point there. So if we just go from here, let's take you guys out a tad just so you can see. We're going to go from here to here just to check that is earthed. Yes, straight underground. So we'll solder our earth wire onto our CPU post. Oh, yep. And that'll be our earth point. Now the cool thing with voltage injection is you can start at a low level. Good. We'll start at a low level. We'll say we'll put in like 1.2 volt. We'll see how much current is drawing. Yes, it was, Bobo. It was Red Ring of Death. So yesterday, if you watched the other stream, we used the heat gun to make it much worse, and then we reflowed a couple of the chips. But since then, I've now tonight found there's a short to earth. It wouldn't fire up still. So this started dead. Don't worry. This can only end in the same as it started. It's whether we can get it less dead or not. So we've now found that there's a short. There's a very real possibility, right, that the short is I've shorted the CPU with the heat gun. Last night was part 1. Tonight is part 2. So what we've done for voltage input. So we know, just to catch up where we are at. So we've gone around the board and we've had a look and we've got a short on this 1.2 volt. Sorry, this 1.2 volt rail. We've got a short on this rail, which is these ICs here. That's also on this row of capacitors along here and these capacitors here. Now that will be CPU voltage. Current technology of Pembrokeshire, yes. So we know that there's a short on this capacitor rail. You know, if I go onto here, it's down to ground, dead ground, on the 1.2 volt rail, which is also that one there. So there's two things. I've either shorted the CPU or something like one of these capacitors down here is shorted as well. So what we're going to do is voltage injection. And the idea of voltage injection is we put some voltage into it and we wait to see what heats up or smokes. You literally wait for the bang. You try not to get it to go bang. You try to stop it before that point. But the goal is to put something in to see what happens. So we've soldered a live and not a live, a ground and a positive wire on, which we're doing now. So I'm just going to clip them on at the power supply and make sure they're nice and safe. Make sure they're not going to touch anything and short out on each other. They're fine. We've got this here. So what we're now going to do is I'm going to set the power supply. We're going to put a little bit of voltage in. I'm going to just disconnect it and turn it on and just see what I've got it set to. Okay, let's turn the current's fine. Constant voltage. And we're going to go down to say 1 volt, and then what we'll do, I've gone to 0.5 volt. Okay, so let's fire him in. And it's just gone down to ground. So we're going to increase the voltage. Okay, so it's now drawing 0.18 milliamp. You can't see the display on the So I'm going to increase the current and see what we can. We're now drawing 0.5 of an amp. And we're going to see if we can feel anything. Getting warm. We might have to put a bit more voltage in. Have I actually got any voltage getting into this? Let's just actually check this. So if we go on the ground over here, that point there, what are we seeing on the meter? No, it's because it's down short. Okay, let's turn it off a sec. Let me just disconnect and put some voltage up. So we're going to go 5 volt. We don't want a 5 volts. We don't want to blow what's in it. We want to go to 1.2. No, not that low. We're going to go 1.2 volt because it's a 1.2 volt circuit. Fine. 1.1 volt. And it's drawing something should be drawing an amp now. Have you got? No, I haven't. I wish I did. That would be very handy right now, wouldn't it? What you end up doing is feeling around something. I'm just wondering if my bloody power supply is Ooh. Ooh, hello. Ooh. It's not hot. The chip is cold. I think there's a bit of heat there. We've got an amp. Okay, we're more current. I swear there's some. It's not the easiest thing without a flue. I keep feeling heat from somewhere. Is it? I'm getting a breath from the solar now. My only problem is I got a feeling my power supply might be bloody He's giving me electric shocks. I wish I did have a flare. I got a feeling my power supply, because it is a dead short. Okay. What I might do is have a look if we're actually getting. I'm not trusted. I've never used this power supply. Now wait there. Sorry, now we're going. Right, 2.5 amp, and we've got to 0.15 of a volt. At the power supply. So we've definitely got some voltage there. So there's 2 amp going into the board right now. Chip is dead cold. Something should start to warm up. something. We've got 2 point. We've got. Oh, we've errored out the supply. Let me try that again. Oh God, no, I'm erroring out. I went too far. I did. On. Down. Down. Behave. Right, 2.4 amp. 2.5 amp. 2.6 amp. Yeah, I did try reballing the CPU. I think I might have cooked it. 2.7. Okay, we've got 2.7 amp going into there right now. Something should start to get warm at 2.7 amp. Something should absolutely start to get warm. It's whether I can get the PSU to put in enough voltage. Oh, my tablet's gone off. I can't see the comments. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, not today. I did the reball yesterday. So we've got 2.7 amp. Trying to feel around, because something should start getting warm. Trust me, something should start getting very warm. Put a bit more current in. 2.8 amp. Something is soaking up 2.8 amps right now. I'd expected something to have started to really warm up by now. I'll be honest. Especially if it was a capacitor or something like that. Can we get a bit more in there? 2.9. So I can't get the voltage up. The voltage is at 0.2 because it's dragging down, because it's a direct short. It's dragging it down. I can literally get it to 0.2 volt. Three amp. 3 amp. We've slowly got 3. Perhaps I went up too quick. So we're at 0.2 volt, 3 amp. It's not a lot of voltage, but it's a lot of current. But the thing to remember is the SoC will sink a lot of current it's capable of. Let's keep going. 3.2. So turn the soldering iron off a second because it's next to my wiring. Just want to make sure my wires don't touch. That's the power supply. 3.5 amp. Still not found it. No heat still. We should start getting some warmth now. This is where a flare would be very handy, because the idea of a flare is you could just look over it. Yeah, there's plenty. Yeah, there's a lot of components on the back. Nothing. I was expecting one of these caps. I was dead expecting one of these caps. Okay, we've got the 3.6 and the voltage is coming up. I'm going slowly now. Oh, I got 3.99 I got to before it errored out. Let me just turn him back off and back on. Yes, behave. 1 volt. Turn the current down. So we got to 3.99, didn't we? So 3.6, 3.7, 3.9. So I don't think I can get over 4 amp. It's a 10 amp supply, this. So I should be able to put plenty into it. But it's not wanting to it's in constant current mode, so it's dragging the voltage down because obviously it's in constant current. The only thing I'm wondering then is if it's one of the balls on the bottom of the BGA, because if it's one of the balls on the bottom of the BGA, it's going to take a lot of current to heat one of them out. In theory, there's 4 amp going into this. You'd think that would show. You would think. You would start to feel that somewhere. Just check one thing. I wonder if I got another power supply here where I can get let's see. I just want to see what just giving it, because in theory it's 3.9 amp right now. 3.99. Just wondering if I can get a bit more power into it. Lipo. Don't fancy sticking a lipo on it, do you? Yeah, it's a good point with the isopropyl. It'll spray off. It'll evaporate off quickly around something that gets wet. Warm. I have isopropyl in this little bottle. Damn flies starting again. It's the low voltage. We need a bit more voltage in it, but I can't put too much, you see, because it. I'm just looking around to see if I can see anything drying. Any of these caps, especially. It's unlikely to be anywhere else on the board, but. I'll see if I can get a bit more current. Oh, she's up to 4 amp now. With a nice bit of a spray, she's taken a bit. Give it the balls, give it enough current that it will show. Yeah, the problem is the power supply's got some protection circuitry in it, so I can't give it everything in the world. The PSU is kicking out on me. Oh, hello. Did I miss him the first time? He looked dry. Let's just wait. Just flipping the board over. No. Which is leading me to think it's CPU. Can I get any more current in? No! Oh, wait a minute. Have I got a bloody current? Wait there. Have I done something dull? Oh, I have. Wait a second. I got a bloody limit set on current on my power supply. That's why it's erroring. Really weird supply, this. Right, 10 amp. This supply, it has voltage and current limits built in. And if you hit them, it will it refuses to go any further. And it gives you an error. It does. So over current, over voltage. So we're going to go up to 11 amp. And instead of giving you like the option of carrying on, there's 9 amp in there now. Now she'll warm. Something's taking 9 amp. Where's the spray? Something's going to have to warm up pretty quickly. They're dead cold. I was expecting to be those caps. The only thing it could be is a layer in the board, isn't it? Yeah, it's taking 9 amp. Nothing there. But it's only 0.75 volt, but we're still... SOC's dead cold as hell. If that was taking 9 amp, you would feel that, wouldn't you? Nine amp? Come on. I'm putting 10 amp through it now. Something's got to show. Run out, look, I need to go and get some more. checking. He looks blind. More power. I've only got a 10 amp supply. I gotta head to lipos to get more than that. I don't fancy shorting a lipo on it. I can't believe it's taking 10 amp and we can't find it. It's a lot of current. Okay, I think what I'll redo is I'll refill my isopropyl and we'll give it a... The fly's drunk by now, yeah. I think I'll refill my isopropyl. Just check something. My power supply isn't lying to me. 1 second. Let's just go on the multi. And just check that my PSU is telling me the truth. This goes up to 10 amps, so we're going to have to knock it back a tad. Oh yeah, it must be right. That's bloody warm. Uh, 10 amp. Let's knock it back slightly. 5 amp. Yeah, we're taking 5 amp. it's my power supply is not lying. We are definitely taking current. Yeah, we're drawing 6 out. Okay, that's fine. So my power supply is not lying. I just thought I would check. The bargain. Right, okay. What we'll do is let's... Okay, so let's just turn it off a sec so we know... Okay, so we've just confirmed something. That's all I just wanted to confirm. I wasn't getting something stupid happening on me power supply that I wasn't taking into account. 10 amp, 0.8 volt, get in there. Okay, let me refill the isopropyl, guys. It's only next to me. I'll be there now. That's taking 10 amp. Something has to start warming up at 10 amp. You cannot tell me something isn't going to get warm at 10 amp. I haven't got a bigger supply than 10, believe it or not, bench-wise. I wish I had a 20 right now. I'm beginning to think, if you can hear me, I'm beginning to think it's the SOC. And that's why we're not getting anything, because I would have thought, right, if it was, we're at 10 amp, power supplies on max chat, 0.85 volt. It's a direct short to ground. Okay, so let's give ourselves another spray. Now I would have thought it's in that area there, but we'll go on this side of the board and let's just have a look and see if I can see anything change. If you did watch the video, tell me, anybody else ordered the RTX 3070? Right, okay, so none of the ICs are flashing off. So none of the FETs are flashing. I was expecting some of these caps to be down, but no. I'm leading to think it's the SOC because of that will take some current. I'm a bit disappointed though. We haven't had anything flash off. He is. Mind. Look. Do you think it's the? I wonder if it's the system on a chip. Yeah, I'm beginning to think it is the or it's in the board. You know, the borders. It's a layer in the board. Thermal is what we need. I really would love a flare. Might have a look at how much are those ones for phones? Does anyone know? Those you know, the one for the iPhone. I know they're not the best, but they're bloody handy, aren't they? Let me just have a look. The Flare one, £200. Oof, it's a lot of money in it. If there's anyone selling a used one on eBay. £159. Brand new and sealed. £80 with the best offer. Someone's selling one. 300 Flare Pro LT. No, they're not cheap, are they? Just looking at, you know, used prices, see if there's any deals. No, well, there's 1 year 159 quid. They're still cheaper than. And then there's a new listing of someone selling one. Sorry, I'm away from the mic. Make an offer. What is this one? Blue one, 30 digit, brand new and sealed, never opened. Unwanted gift. I suspect that's a version 1 as well. I might keep an eye on that. Okay, let's get back to this board. No, I'm definitely beginning to think it's in the SoC, although she is stone cold. Absolutely stone cold. £10. 10 amps. Astonished at that. I would have thought. You could use an IR temperature gun. Yeah, which I've got one here. Funny enough, we do have one next to her. Just to, as you say, just to see a heat rise. I would think that the weird thing is I'm not feeling anything. Okay, so any rise on you at all? What are you on? What's wrong with my gun? It's gone a bit mad. 1 second. This might be the flat battery, by the way, so it's not flat, but it's not fully charged. Put it that way. 16 degrees. 15.9. So if we look at the two SoCs, okay, we're getting 15.9, 16.6, 17. That's interesting. Is there a heat rise there then? It could just be worth me. I wonder if it's worth me just putting a bit of time on that and seeing. So that one there is at 15.3. As accurate as these things are, because it is a cheap one. And that's at 16.5. 17 on that corner. 18 on the board. 16 here. 17, 15 on the board. Just checking these caps. I think I found it. Okay, let's show you guys this. Okay, if we just shift those wires out of the way, still 10 amp going in there. So if we look at the SOC, so if we look at this SOC, we're at 15, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14. Okay, if we come to this one, we're at 15.3, 15.8. You know, so it's a change, but it's close. 15.2, again within 15, 14, 15, and then look at this corner. 17, 18. Okay, we'll check the board on the other side for this now. But this side of the chip is substantially cooler, 2 degrees. So I think we've got it. I think it's there. Just checking around the board. We're back down to 16 around here. That's fine. Over here is fine. Definitely an increase in temperature on that side of the chip. Definitely. Okay, let's flip him over so we understand. So the SSC is here. So if we start looking around here, 15 degrees, this corner here, 16. Check all of these caps, make sure none of these are peaking. Definitely an increase here. Definitely in that area there. It was showing more, which doesn't really. Oh well, it sort of tallies. It's that corner here, which was the hotter, which would lead me to think it's the other side of the board. Okay, so based on that, I think it's the SOC. Based on we're getting 14, 14, 16, 14, 16, 2 degree shift across that SOC. In the middle of it, back down to 15. Yeah, definitely there. I'm comfortable. It's in this area here. Let me just look. I just want to make sure something dull isn't happening. Like a short off the compound. It's just okay. Let's spray him up a minute. Just cleaning around the SOC a minute. Still putting 10 amps in there. That's fine. Okay, I'm pretty convinced the issue is on that SOC. but that's why I'm leaning towards at the moment. What's your thoughts, guys? Let me know what you think, having seen that yourself as well. Now, there's no other components around there, so we definitely got to. Definitely by there. If I go right there, like on this, oh, 17. There. Right there, there's like a 3-degree increase. Which I've got no explanation for other than it being 3 degrees warmer. Let me just dry that off. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to go with that. Okay, so what we'll do, let's hit it with the heat gun one more time, shall we? Let's see if we can reball it one more time, and see what happens. It can only end badly, can't it? We're going to obviously turn off the current to it in a minute. So we're going to shut him down. I think what we'll do is we'll hit this one more time. I think the short is in the SOC. I'm just going to pop the mic back a minute, guys. And just pop some more heat on. And what we're going to do is reheat him. I'm going to go in a bit lower temp, not quite as crazy hot as I have in the past this time. What I'm doing is I'm gently tapping him to see if I'm getting the solder to melt enough. I've lost my comments a minute, guys, so I'll bring them back up in a minute. Right, I'm going to go with a bit more heat. Now. Still not loose yet. My wire's just fallen off. I've melted the solder by there. Bloody hell, that made me jump. Getting some other... Oh, there we go. Right. That is clearly reballed again. It was moving nicely, that was. Still is. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's very much... Actually, just going off now. We get the comments back up. He's cooked, to say the least. Let's get the comments back up. I love your precision heat gun. You paint off the windows. Now, how did we actually get up to there? Where's the flare now? Let's see. Not the flare. 142. It's not bad. She's cooling. Now, let's just get this meter back. Yeah. For this size of project, it's a proper heat gun. It's not a bit. I haven't got a BG. I don't own a BGA one for this type of stuff. I put a lot of flux on this yesterday. Now, the flux shouldn't be short in it. Look, we're still down to earth, look. Still very much down to earth. I'm getting to the stage where I'm thinking of taking the SOC off. What do you think? Should we go for it? I think we're at the stage now where we're losing this battle. You know, we're clearly shorted. I don't know, do I just remove these? I think what I'll do, one last hurrah, I'll remove all these caps. We'll get the precision gun out now. We'll lift these caps. And then we'll just double check just to make sure. And we'll lift all of these. Get you guys in a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. We'll get all of these off. A bit more air than that. What's going on? Come on. Come on, lead free. Just tilt the board to my finger angle. I'll just get these off. I hate lead-free solder. Come on. I'm going to get the big heat gun on it in a minute. Got 490 degrees. Maximum heat. I can't believe that. I'm going to have to rock the old school heat gun again in a minute, guys. I'm going to have to get the big one out in a sec. This doesn't work. Come on. You're fucking welded on. Shall we? Let's go for this a minute then, shall we? just firing the iron up. We'll do it with the iron. I can't get the buggers off. We'll take the second challenge now. We'll just wait for the iron to heat up. H plus E. What's H plus E? Yeah. Just letting the soldering iron heat. Ow, that's hot. Grinder. Yeah, they're on hard. I try not to break them. Put it in with the soldering iron. I honestly think it's in the SOC. I've either killed the SOC or there's a and interestingly, right, and I'm saying about these caps, right, short is on that rail as well. I'm inclined to definitely think it's the SOC. We definitely moved him though, you know, and we definitely helped him ball up. I'm saying I'll lift those caps. Those caps are on a separate rail to that one there. This chip is powered by, just checking here. So that's the plus. What's that one meant to be? Let's just check that a sec. Just check what that one is saying. So that is so next to that. So that should be green. So right there. What we should have here is go to Earth. That should not be down to Earth. That is down to Earth, and that should not be. So that chip there, which is that leg there, should be brown. 3.3 volt rail, and that rail as well. Right, iron's hot. Let's just get these. Can I move a few of these with the iron? Am I adding solder? Am I? It looks like I am. And then we'll get in there and we're going to take the SOC off then, guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you, dear capacitor. Well, I won't be putting these back on. That's for sure. Simply collecting them up in a ball of solder. There we go. They certainly won't be being used again. Okay. All of them removed. Now, just to make sure we're not shorting on that, we will a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Just to clean the pads, just to make sure there's no shorts in the pads. Definitely got to get an extractor. Okay, so let's go back on the 5 volt rail. Nope, straight short. Right, let's get the SOC off. Let's go for it. Let's go for him. Okay, guys, we're going to lift him. This is the end of this now. There's a reason I'm putting some flux on it, because I just want to really melt him down. And just want to do one thing as well. I'm going to put it on this. I was melting my desk last night. There you go, guys. Yeah, I heated her up and moved it a little. I haven't lifted it. Just heated and moved. I've never lifted. Okay, so she's loose now. Bloody hot. What I love is the surface tension, look. Now we've knocked her off. I knocked that right off then and back on. Let's just see what that's done. Let's just see if it's done anything on that rail. Oh. No, I still don't wear it, look. Straight down. Sorry, you can't see it, but it is. I just put it on there. Okay, let's lift it off. I've just lifted her and popped it back down. I've never done a lift and pop back down on these. Still shorted. Right, she's coming off. Alright, here we go, guys. So she is off. Now what we're gonna do? That's smoking. I'll remove all of that now, and we'll have a look. I'll remove all of the excess solder. We'll ball all of that up with the iron, and we'll see if the short disappears. We're just removing all of this solder, which is way too much. There we go. It's pretty clean now. Doesn't look to be any shorts there now on the balls. So, the moment of truth. The short is gone. You guys can't see. Out with the multi. There you go. So we're well out. We're well out. Now the problem is I don't have the gear to reball this. Not easily. There's the chip. there's really not enough solder on that to, you know, I could clean this up and I could clean this up. You know, we could certainly clean this up with plenty of flux and our iron. So let's just get some flux on there a minute. The only problem with doing this is it's very easy to burn a pad or lift a pad doing this. Now what we're doing now is just running over. Not good yet. So this is not enough solder to re-ball the unit back on, you know. Okay, so that's fairly clean now. We've got very good clean. She's warm to say the least. Oh, chair creaked. So it was the SOC. Now the problem is what we don't know was the SOC was there a solder run? I put plenty of flux on it last time to try and stop solder running. Now still hot. We put plenty of flux on to try and cut it down. It's interesting, yeah. The bottom of this chip. Let me just clean it again to make sure it's not flux. It's not flat, it's bubbled. I think I overcooked it. Not now, I think I did that yesterday. Let me just clean that again. I'll show you it. Just give them a good clean of my hands. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's really not good. Just to make sure that is the chip and it's not flux. Put some flux on that a second. Where's it gone? Because you can't do what I'm doing there without flux. Ow, 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 ow. Thermal conductivity is very good on this. Yeah, the bottom of this chip doesn't look flat anymore. It looks like slightly raised up in one or two places. Now it's a shame there isn't enough solder that we can't actually, you know, ball him back. But it needs more than that. You know, if I place him in place, that's him back in where he should be. Go on the and go on. That's interesting, look. Direct short again. Now, take him off. Actually, no, the short's still there. Okay. I am on a metal chassis, mind. Let's just take it off the metal chassis. Yeah. That's better. Okay, so the short is gone now. Now, if we place the chip back and just lay him on, all the pins are flat, nothing's shorting. Nothing is technically, she should be making contact here roughly. Not 100%. Oh, that's better. Some pressure on. No, it's a shame we can't. It's a shame these aren't easy to reball. I wonder if there's a stencil. It's a shame you can't get the stencil for them. Xbox CPU. Yes, the GPU, isn't it? Oh, you can. 8 Xbox 360, PS3, GPU, CPU, XP8 cache, and a stencil template. You can buy them. Wow. Interesting. Reball station for Xbox CPU. So you get the balls, the flux. £41 for a reball station. It's just not worth it. Unfortunately, it's just not worth it. Just not enough solder there, and there's not enough solder there to be able to get us back where we need to be. Have in the past, right, which is Scotland answers, and I have got these to fire up by, not these, but holding them in place. I have actually done that before. I've actually got the consoles to work by doing that before. It's incredible, but in the old days when I used to do a lot of them, at the end of the day, it's pins, isn't it? She needs to be reballed. She needs to be reballed. I don't know whether to end that process here. I don't know whether to continue to see if I can recover, because I can't, like these caps and these, it's all replaceable. It's all cheap nonsense. It's all doable. I just wonder when, how far do you go with these things, isn't it? How far do you take them before madness? It all becomes madness. Okay, guys. Well, that's where we've ended up. We ended up that the short was in the SoC, which is the GPU or the XGPU. Whether it's dead or not is another question. She was taking a good 10 amps from the power supply without problems. You can reball them. I'm just looking at the reball rework kits. £40. Reball station kit. Yeah. Direct heated reball station for Xbox 360. Direct heated reball station. Reball stencil. That's what I've been looking for, is a stencil. You might have blocked fan ducts if yours is overheating. They are common to block up. They are common to actually block up. Reballing read out denser. It's not something I've ever done. It's not easy, is it? You'd have to lay the balls. I'd have to remove all the solder, lay all the balls on it individually, one at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've seen there's people who do this on YouTube, and they lay all the balls on. And then the bottom of this chip definitely doesn't look flat. Can I show you that? Right, can I show you? I mean, it's not. Right. Just trying to see if you guys can see it or not. There. Can you see? Right there. There's the circle here. And there's something there as well. Yeah, it is cheaper to buy a used Xbox on eBay. 100% Revo. Yeah, I was looking last night. It's just, it becomes a challenge, doesn't it, these things? But yeah, that don't look flat. You know, it becomes a challenge. It becomes something you want to fight with. You know, just to go, well, I fixed it. I did it. That's, you know, that's where you get to with these things, don't you? You sort of want to you never want to be defeated by them. You want to be able to continue to fight them. But yeah, I'll see. It's a shame. What I don't know is, can you replace the XGPU? Is it serial number Xbox XGPU replacement? Can you replace it? Xbox 360. Or is it serial number type? Because a lot of this stuff is serial number type. Repair your Xbox.co.uk. There are people who reball them all the time, though. There's a company here. They got the stencil. They poured all the balls over. They got all the balls. They then heat it. I am tempted to pick up a stencil on the balls. I really am. Click here to send your console in for a reball. This store is currently offline. Oh, that's a shame. These guys do make it look easy. They're clever buggers. I'll be honest, right? The guys who do this all the time, it's clever stuff. It really is. It's okay. Is it possible to replace the GPU? I just want to see if it's serial number bound or anything like that. Yeah, but it's a bit off on the back. It does, doesn't it? There's a couple of lumps on the back. Full reball and reflow, which is very difficult, requires some expensive equipment. But is it serial number bound? That is what I'm interested in. Xbox XGPU, because I did see someone selling some in China. Now the problem is you don't know what you get in. XGPU from AliExpress. No. You can get. I was looking on eBay. There's motherboards. I was even tempted to see if I could get a used motherboard. I'm not happy with that. It looks off. Definitely looks off in two places. To me, where's my tweezers a sec? Put you guys under so you can see as well. You know that lump there. You can see that ridge there, that crater there. I'm trying to see is it just flux? not. That's wrong. That's off. Definitely off. I think it's the substrate. Cool. Right, let's pop the lid, shall we? Will the lid pop? Let's have a look on one of these. When in Rome, if we're going to do it, let's do it properly. Let's turn the soldering irons off and the heat guns off. We don't need them anymore. So what we're going to do, guys, let's de-lid. Here he is. So the heat spread is removed. And that's the chips. You've got the CPU and GPU in there, and the cache, and your heat compound. In the that's him. Delidding in itself doesn't do any damage. You know that it would still work if it was going to work. But no, I think he's a goner. I think he's a goner. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it quits on this one. We've managed to destroy it. We've managed to destroy it for long enough tonight. I think that probably brings the end to the Xbox saga. It gives me another board of components. She's certainly dead now anyway. But it's been an interesting experience to... I haven't done one of these for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast. Possibly would have got away with it if I'd have ovened it first. Perhaps that would have been a solution to try. And that would have been a reballing. But it hasn't. Let me just turn the comments back on. Just in case someone's saying something. Damn, the tablet's turned off again. PCB porn. I can no longer hear me. You can no longer hear me. Can you hear me now? Is it working now? Is the mic volume better now? Is it all back up? Sorry, because I was talking over there. It was out the way. It should all be back up to normal now because we're on the proper. I'm recharging the RROD. The RROD is charging again now, so the mic volume had gone down. But no, I think that is the end of this RROD. We've killed her. She be dead, Jim. She be dead. Certainly not life, Jim, as far as we know it. But no, she's a goner. It was always going to be the case. As I was saying when the mic volume was low, I possibly could have recovered it if I'd have done the oven in first. The chances are I killed it with the heat gun. Too much heat, and we've rolled some of the solder over. That's most likely what the cause is. The board isn't dead. You know, even though what we've removed over, you know, we've removed those caps. These caps have been removed. It's all replaceable. It's all cheap components. The real issue here is the SoC. Even if this was reballed and put back on, I'm not happy with that underneath. Looking at it, I think probably too much heat has got into that, and she's delaminated slightly. Mic is still low, very low. That's weird. Why is the mic low then? I'm looking at OBS, and OBS looks fine. The OBS looks okay. OBS looks fine. Did it just go low then, did it? Did it just change? Just listen to myself now. It was very bad compared to Sunday nights. That's strange. 2 seconds. Let me just... Has that changed anything there now? I've just unplugged the preamp. I'm just looking across at the PreSonus looks all okay. My volumes looks okay up there. I wonder if it's OBS then, on the output of OBS. Because the levels look okay on the screen. Yeah, you can see the bar in the background. I'm peaking on -8 to -10, so I wonder if OBS is doing something strange. All good now. All right, okay. That's weird. That's strange. That's strange indeed. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what it does. Okay. I am talking a bit quieter, mind, but it shouldn't be enough to doubled. That's weird because I'm listening on the tablet. So what's it? Listening on the tablet. Seems okay this because this tablet isn't very loud, but okay, we'll yeah, that's weird. Unless it's YouTube doing something strange. Everything on my side looks correct. Unless OBS is doing something very, very strange. I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you very much for spending some time with me. It was just a random one. Take it easy, and I'll end the stream. And I will speak to you guys all soon. Take it easy. I got to go over to here now to turn it off. No, I don't. I can do it from over here. There we go. Stay safe, guys.